Hey y'all, peace. It's March 25th. We're back over at Rich's, as you can see. We're working on the cart for next weekend for the test day. Well, a week from this weekend. It's Thursday, so we got a week from today. She's got to be all loaded up and ready to go. So we're going ahead and got everything else going. Wheels are on, gears changed. We put our starter nut on, Loctited everything down. And blue Loctite, by the way. And we transferred this onto the seat when we had the seat installed here. Right, this is what we came up with. First with a grease pencil, then we went with the paint stick, paint marker. What we do is we don't want to tear up the covering. We don't want to recover it. We just want to get a slot in here so we can get the starter through. It's a 5/8 socket, so it needs to be this big. We've already figured that out. We've given ourselves a little bit of room for more, smaller gears front and rear, or a bigger gear in the front, smaller in the back, a little more Gingerman, a little more Daytona, just to make sure we got everything for every possible gear selection for the engine moving fore and aft, right? So what we do is we drill a hole first. Before I get ahead of myself, we wanted to make sure that that this wasn't going downhill and the engine was moving like this, right? Let's say we were moving. So how do we do that? We took the angle gauge and we set it here on the chassis, assuming this side is level with that side. It doesn't really much matter as long as it's the same front to rear, right? And we zeroed it out. Put the seat back in and, made sure it was down flat, and then held this down the side and got it as close to zero as we could. I think we were about 0.4 of a degree. And then we marked the top of the gauge on the seat. Then we transferred that with the paint marker. I put it away already. And gave ourselves the direction in which, because the seat literally sits like this. This is actually on about a 10.5 degree angle. So you see where we're going with this. So what we do is we start with drilling a hole in the center of that first mark. And like I said, we don't want to tear all this up. We want to make it look like it was there from the beginning. And then we get a little dental pick and just get inside and start pulling the fleece off the seat, because it's glued down, right, with the spray adhesive. We'll get it all off of here. Why are we doing this? Because when we cut that slot out, we don't want to cut this cover. We're going to put a slice in it, and then we're going to use the contacts, and we're going to push it through the hole and glue it in so it looks like it was done right from the get-go, right? So we're just going to try to pull a bunch of this back. So while we're using the tool to cut the fiberglass out of there, that we're not going to damage this cover at all. And don't worry about stretching it all out or whatever, because it's not going to be there, right? You're just going to have enough of it hanging over the edge so you can glue it right around the edge, and the cover will stay glued down. If you don't try to glue this stuff back through the hole, back onto the outside, and sometimes, if you make the slot not wide enough, or somebody gets lazy with the starter, the socket will actually spin on the fiberglass and wear through, and then this stuff starts peeling off the seat. And then again, you got a mess on your hands. You're going to have to keep gluing it on. The glue's going to eventually get inside, and then you got to go with the whole recovering of the seat again. And we just did this one not long ago, so we don't want to get into that. This one's still in pretty decent shape, so we'll just remove as much and pull it back as much as we can. Right, and we'll just keep doing that until we can cut a hole in there. So this will be part one. Computer's down again, so I'd already taken it back this morning, back to the guy that just fixed it. He said, it'll be a warranty deal. I won't have to worry about paying for nothing. So he's going to get, for some reason, it just all by itself. I heard this beep, beep, beep while I was cooking dinner. And looked around following the noise, and I followed it over to the computer. I'm like, no, sure as anything. Big blue screen said recovery couldn't function or something. I don't know. But so today being the 24th, you may not see these videos for a day or two till we get the computer back. So that should do us right there. And I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this a little bit, get a little bit more of it peeled away, remove that glass, and then I'll go ahead and show you how we put a slice in it lengthwise, not all the way to the end of the, I'll do it on the side, not all the way to the end of the slot, and we're going to go inside the white line. We're going to leave the entire white line. That way it's not too big. So we'll end up putting a cut from, say, in the cover from, say, here all the way to there, and then a bit of a Y as well, so the ends will come through and the top and bottom, and you won't see any of those cuts. You leave them short of the edge, and we'll glue them right onto the outside here, and glue anything on the inside that we broke loose. It's still loose. So that's what we're doing. It's about the last thing we've got to do. I worked on the headrest a little bit too. I think I did a video a while ago about the helmets. The difference between the padding that goes around your neck that seals up the inside of the helmet to the outside of the shell, that distance. On all three of my helmets, the new one, the old new one, and the old one, were all different depths, and it makes a difference as to where that thing is going to make contact on our headrest form here. I peeled the cover off because when we went to Gingerman, I had to add padding. For some reason, I still couldn't see where I was going, although in the garage we had it set up where it was pretty comfortable, you know. So this is what we ended up with at Gingerman working, but I ended up actually changing from my old helmet to my old new helmet, the one in the middle. And that it was with this 1,000% better. I would have liked to have tried it again without this to see if it was just that depth of the helmet thing we were talking about. So what I did is I peeled all the covering off. We cut some of the front of this back because we thought, you know, laying our neck on there would be good, and it ended up not being so good. It actually was giving us a little bit of a sore neck. So we're going to try this first. We'll try this with the old new helmet, and we're going to bring our new helmet, even though it's not painted. We'll put some orange and red graphics, maybe some blue. You know, I won't wear a plain white wrapper helmet. Sorry, Bob. Or a plain black helmet. Mine is white, and there's no fashion show flair to that. And you know, if Bob's going to bring a camera and there's going to be pictures taken, then I want pictures, you know, of me looking good. So we'll bring the new helmet just so we know what pad is going to work. Grattan's a relatively rough track right now. So it'll be a good test to find out what, if anything, we need, and then whatever we come up with for the new helmet, which is probably the way we're going to go. I could wear the new old helmet, which is still legal in the vintage cart because it doesn't have a headrest like this with a shelf. But we want to get this figured out as well at our test. So when we come back, whatever works with the new helmet, then we can go ahead and put the covering on it and cover it all up, and it'll be a finished, finito, done. So that's where we're at. This is the last two things we've got to do. This is done. Just waiting for the hole in the seat to get done. We can bolt it back on, and it's ready to go. We'll just duct tape this stuff on, trying these pieces at the test. Sorry about the camera there. So we'll just put tape. We'll just tape it on, just for testing purposes, and then you know, that way if we need to remove some more of this because it still hurts our neck or something, you know, it was making contact, so that knob at the top of your shoulders in the bottom of your neck actually was a little tender, like somebody had been punching on you, you know. So that's why we test, man. That's what you do. Other than that, when we get the seat, everything, then we can go ahead and throw fuel in it, and we'll start it with the seat still out so we can check for any leaks or anything like that. Everything will be at that point ready to go. Everything goes back in, body work back on. We make sure the cart's got a little bit of extra air in all the tires, and when we stick it in the trailer, it's ready to go. All we got to do when we get there is pump the antifreeze out of it and set the air pressure. Chain's already lubed. We're ready to go. So I'll bring you some more of that seat in a little bit. Talk to y'all.